Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 209. You know what we're going to be doing, having a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly what we can expect for the upcoming week. This week was actually nice. We had a beautiful trend across all the markets pretty much, and our weekly forecast on the majority of the pairs, it actually went through. However, like in terms of entries, that was the tough part because majority of the days the market was either impulsing or waiting for New York open to like give the manipulation and the push. So I pretty much made my week on Friday. I first took 2 losses in the beginning of the week, but then Friday I took a loss, but then I took a win that covered for all the losses. So it's pretty good. Still taking into account that I trade from my kitchen table with one screen. It's quite tough still, but hopefully in the upcoming week and next week, I'm going to be fully settling in the new apartment with a brand new desk, chair, and it's time for really good trading. So if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I'm going to be sharing an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed in order not to miss all the amazing content that is incoming. And if you already did, let's not waste time and straight jump into the analysis. Alright, you know we always start with the Dixie. Again, many questions about the Dixie. It is just a basket of currencies. Make sure to Google what is the DXY and you're going to be given the basket of currencies that it comprises of. But pretty much starting the analysis with the Dixie every single time gives us an overall overview of how the dollar is going, because again, the dollar is the world's reserve currency and is a pretty important one to be looked at, okay? But of course, before we do that, it is very important to also check out the economic calendar for next week because it is going to be very busy. Tuesday, we start with some GBP news, and then on Wednesday, very big. So CPI, and CPI nowadays, especially for the US, but not only for the US, has been the biggest market mover. Okay, so watch out for this. Thursday, we have monetary policy decision statement from the ECB. They're expected to keep their rate the same, which is very interesting to see. PPI right there, retail sales, and ECB press conference. So absolutely big day on Thursday. And then Friday, we end up with some, we don't care that much about Chinese yuan, although you can see they're becoming major impact right now because again, China has even more influence than it used to have nowadays in the financial market. So once again, Wednesday and Thursday, absolutely big days. Okay, so make sure to watch out. Of course, my advice will immediately go, do not trade, wait for the news to be over, because especially with interest rates and with CPI, you just don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but hopefully those news are going to be a catalyst for some sort of a pullback, because again, starting with the Dixie right now, it keeps reaching higher, right? First of all, we had this weekly structure break. Right now we have this weekly trend change from here, and since this trend change occurred, we took out this high right there, so we collected the liquidity above it. Pretty much we collected it this week, which has been the objective, right? So pretty much right now, as we keep taking highs, the market should start seeking some sort of a sell imbalance right there. I mean, sell side liquidity, which usually comes either in an imbalance or like some structural liquidity and stuff, right? But if you have a look on the weekly time frame, like there is not a lot of imbalance that I see, right? The only one is all the way down there, but is the market gonna pull back that much? I don't think so. So again, just throwing this out there, could the news next week be a catalyst for a DXY pullback, or are we just gonna keep rocking up, attacking this liquidity? Well, again, we don't know. So let's try to figure it out. Now, the other thing about the Dixie is that also on the daily time frame, super bullish. Like here, like I think it was last week, 28th of August. So here we had a little bit of a trend change to the downside on the daily, but once again, I keep saying, like, pay attention to how the market breaks, right? I do take every wick as a break. However, I also started observing how does it break. Like, does it close with a body? Does it stay below or above a certain level in order to really kind of signify that it's a strong break? Like the one I see to the left is this one, right? So as the market made this break and then immediately rejected, right, you can start wondering, okay, do I really want to trade from a level like this? And you can see on the next candle, it just massively smashes, right? So it was the same right here. Created this little break, rejected, right? Then the next candle, massive bullish engulfing, the next candle already up there, and then we ended up just pretty much breaking. So again, Monday was a bank holiday, dead, and then we have 4 consecutive bullish days, except of Friday. It was rather choppy. But pretty much, yeah, right now we can take from this low to this high. I'm having a regular FIP, and yeah, then we can see, okay, well, the market could potentially start pulling back right now. There is the first imbalance to be filled, and we have one above the 50%, that is right there. So those are potentially the two places that I would expect for the market to go, keeping in mind that we also took out this massive liquidity right there, which was a daily / even weekly liquidity. Okay, so when is that pullback going to occur? Well, potentially when the 4-hour time frame changes, and the 4-hour time frame this week was absolutely bullish. Push, pullback, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then Friday was a little bit tricky. We had some sort of reversals on Friday. It was a very nice day, but it caused a reversal in New York. So here you can see we had like this break, right? And then we had this breakdown, then the market pulls back, wicks this low as well, and then goes above it. So right now, yeah, in terms of structure, it is very unclear. So yeah, not very clear. I mean, is this the high? Is this the high right there? Is this a structure break? And is this a trend change? Very, very, very tough, because we're overall staying in this kind of range right there. So as usual, like, I hate doing this analysis on Saturday because I love doing my analysis actually on Monday. Why? Well, because the market is already rolling and you do have some data to work with, okay? So right now, what I'm just gonna conclude on the Dixie is that it's a little bit high. It's starting to kind of consolidate a little bit right there at the top, and I would start expecting a potential pullback. So as I said, is the CPI or is the ECB's interest rate decision going to be a catalyst for the DXY pulling back? Well, we don't know. But currently, exactly this closing price action right there, it does not make a lot of sense, because here this wick, both kind of wicked the low, but it also wicked this high. So this is a wick that I do not consider to be a valid range. But then of course you can also, like according to my rules, you can also take this one as a structure break because it is valid, and then this turns into your demand zone. But in this case, when it's tricky like this, I would just prefer to wait on it, right? Are we gonna like continue to push up and then maybe pull back for continuation? Are we gonna drop and maybe consolidate and then figure out what is gonna go? Once again, guys, learn the skill of flowing. But that is the current price action we have on the Dixie. It is not clear, and I can already see that it's starting to cook for something, because when the market gets tricky, it's usually cooking for something. So I'm not gonna throw any bias on the DXY right now. So let's see how the other pairs look like, and maybe then from the other pairs we can try to forecast what the Dixie could do. But I would say it's still bullish. It's still going hard, very strong to the upside, right? But again, I would start expecting a potential pullback, and I do believe this week we're gonna have a catalyst for it. So let's see. The first thing that pops to my eyes when I had a look right now at EU is that the DXY already broke the weekly high. There's the weekly high on the DXY, while EU is still traveling towards it. Okay, so does that mean that EU has more space to the downside, right? Or does that mean like that divergence, which usually means that one of the pairs is kind of gonna go all of a sudden? Okay, so that is something to really be mindful of and observe it. So if somebody of you are aware of those fake correlation, let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, what does that mean if the DXY is breaking the high but EU still hasn't broken the high? Okay, because if the DXY had made a liquidity gap and it's gonna flush lower, then that means that EU can just hold from here and start pushing higher. Again, we don't know, but this week absolutely bearish, which is lovely. But guess what? There was absolutely hard to catch a setup. So on the daily time frame, so what did we do here is we came in for a little liquidity gap right there, and then the market just went in the other direction, broke on Tuesday. So Monday bank holiday, Tuesday massive flush, Wednesday chop, Thursday a little bit pushed down, and then Friday kind of a little bit of a reversal. So I would still say the daily range on EU is from this high to this low. We've broken, like, we've taken liquidity here, but this liquidity is no longer relevant because the market already did pull back and took out the buy side. So right now we push lower. My first target was actually this one. Probably I mentioned it on the weekly outlook. So this one is collected right now, but the market kept flushing below it. So right now, again, the big question is, are we going to start initiating a pullback on the daily, or are we first going to take out the low and then initiate the pullback? Because again, a pullback is imminent. Weekly time frame, we have quite a couple of candles to the downside, right? Liquidity has been taken. Daily time frame, very bearish, and exactly the current positioning of price, it's at a lower low. The momentum is starting to slow down. So once again, you start presuming, okay, where could the market go? Well, the first thing you see is the imbalance around the 50%. So I'm going to be making a video in imbalance. Don't worry, I'm still training my eyes to it before I actually provide any knowledge to you guys because I don't want to share something that I'm not 100% sure of. So those are potentially the two areas that we can expect to be filled on the daily. Okay, so if you are trying to determine like a bias right now, well, we can start expecting that the market could potentially start pushing up. However, our market starts to reverse when it takes liquidity, right? And usually that is why after a higher high, the market makes a higher low. Why? Well, because it took liquidity above this high, right? And going to the FOH, that is when things become tricky once again. But this week it was phenomenally bearish. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pushes to the downside. That does not usually happen because usually you have 5 waves, okay? So if I just zoom in, like again, to give you the overall market structure, there was a break. It was a very sketchy break, but then the market just pulled back, held, and then it broke to the downside. There is the next break right there. What caused the break? It was this, and then the market came in on Friday and swept it, but then again immediately rejected, right? So I don't really want to call this market bullish right now. Like, this to me is not bullish. This is just pure liquidation manipulation, right? Because technically right now, if I'm extremely systematic, that will be my range and the market will be bullish, but I would hate to trade this bullish price action. It just does not look good. So again, what I'm going to say for EU is that give it some time. And I do believe on Monday is going to be choppy. Maybe Monday or Tuesday can offer a little trade intraday, right? But then Tuesday is going to chop around for Wednesday, and then Wednesday is going to be so tricky that on Thursday we don't know what to do. Okay, so it's a very big week ahead of us. Usually the first 2 weeks of the month are tricky. So again, guys, stay patient. The most money is made in the second 2 weeks of the month. So that is what we have currently on the EU. I'm not going to draw any zones because kind of this high got violated. And right now I don't really want to draw any demand zone. And I mean on the 50-minute, I mean, look at this, massive push up, massive push down. So it's very tough right now. So again, stay patient and wait for something to happen. Now to just quickly show you my true trades on EU, I'm rather pissed at myself, but it is what it is. We also do make mistakes. So let's have a look. On Wednesday, I tried to short the market and I was pretty good with my bias, but again, the entry sucked. And so let's see how it looked like. Yeah, so we're trading from a 50-minute and also a 30-minute supply zone. The market came in and took out the Asian high, and in this case we had a 50-minute TC and we also had a 5-minute TC, which is actually the TC is a trend change. If none of you know what TC is, if some of you don't know what TC is, make sure to watch my latest educational series. So the market did make this TC, the market did make a pullback, so I didn't want to kind of wait for a bigger pullback as I saw this massive momentum kick in right there. And this was taken before London Open. Why? Well, because if you have a look on Tuesday, the market did not wait for London Open, but it just straight on Frankfurt, it just dropped. So I did presume if that momentum is going to keep carrying on, I better get involved. So I took the trade from here, stop loss above, and yeah, the bastard swept me out. Reacted and swept up again, and then just look at EU, right? EU has been a mess like this. While GU, for example, GU moved flawlessly. I had some members of the community focus on GU and they were quite lucky to do this, right? And I'm usually the EU crybaby. Then the market did pull back in New York, and then it's still flushed, attacking the week low, but again, got a stop loss during London. The next trade I took was on Friday, and that was a shitty trade. That is a trade I just hate because I went against my rules of not micromanaging the trade. So this trade was taken as a 5-minute continuation. We also have a zone right there of 4-hourly supply. Once again, same exact setup. Taking out the Asian high, aligning bearish right there, most recent 5-minute range, and I just took it from here, stop loss above. The market did push down and did create kind of a new sketchy 5-minute range, and then I was seeing all the other pairs starting to impulse to the upside and break structure. So I did a very stupid mistake, slightly bit. Yeah, it's a stupid, right? At first I had it at break even, but then I wanted to have trust in my trade. So then instead of actually having my original stop loss, I was just kind of watching price, and I was like, okay, let's see what's gonna go. And then I think eventually I placed my stop loss here, and then I got like a little bit swept. It was a stupid micromanagement. And this is why again, trading, like getting your entry, has 3 phases: waiting for the setup, executing the setup, and then not doing stupid shit as you are in the setup. Because I got my stop loss somewhere right there, and then the market hit my targets for a 4.2 hour. So it is what it is. Not only did I get like a little stop loss right there, but I did not get a profit. I did not get a zero at least at the trade. So very stupid trade. So again, guys, try not to micromanage your trades. Have trust in your analysis and let them play out. It's much better to have a stop loss rather than have like a half loss for a break even, and then the market hits TP. At least that's how I think. Okay, so that is my stupid performance on EU this week, but again, I'm gonna cover it, the losses on SPX, so stay tuned for that. And of course, let's see what's gonna happen on EU next week. Be aware of all the news that are incoming. Let's have a look at Euro Yen. So weekly time frame, again, you can see 4 consecutive weeks of a choppiness. All right, so that is the first thing I see on the weekly, and I know that I won't be trading this pair right now. Okay, 4 consecutive week of a chop. Yes, the market is bullish, right? You can draw your weekly range. Yes, the market is bullish. It could be looking for a pullback, but again, it's absolutely unclear. And then it dropped to the daily time frame. And let me just look at this kind of piece of price action. Like this, like here was a beautiful trend. Okay, good. But since there, we kind of went down, we went up, we went down, right? This went up, took out this high, then it took out this low. Then this one failed to hold, took out the high, then chop, took out the low, took out the high. Right now it pulled back, it tried to push, it failed, and it's coming back to kind of retest. So not very clear, a structure that does not make a lot of sense. The last thing that happened is we had a daily break. Then we started like this pullback. The market did pull back inside the zone. Tried to react for a whole week this week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, tried to react. Then Thursday crushed the market, and Friday kind of threw another rejection after taking out this low as liquidity. And why is this low liquidity? Because it's a low that failed to cause anything, right? So then it gets liquidated, and then on Friday we had a nice rejection. So can that mean we can be shifting bullish? Well, probably. But again, in terms of the quality structure, so the market came in, it broke structure right there, then it broke structure right here, which is a trend change again, push, higher low, higher high, then swept the low, then swept the high, then swept the low once again. So the latest break is here. And yeah, pretty much the latest range is bearish right now in a bullish daily market. So what I'm gonna say is, like, JPYs, I'm probably not gonna be trading JPYs very soon in my career, because just right now I got into indices. So JPYs are something that I really don't want to entertain the idea of trading. But yeah, so here is how the market looks like right now. We have taken daily liquidity. The market is impulsing away from it. So you have pretty much 2 scenarios on this one. Either the market is gonna drop, because again, the overall sentiment could be bearish on the JPYs depending on UJ, right? Or the market can carry up to the upside, create a forward trend change, then maybe pull back, and then carry on with this overall bullish bias on the daily time frame right now. Again, keep in mind, weekly is very high. It could be needing a little bit of a pullback. Daily time frame, it's not high because we have like a new range from low to high. We pull back to the very extreme, right? So again, is next week gonna give us a push up or a push down? We just gotta wait, right? Pretty much an idea right now you can have is try to take a short from here, right? But I don't think it's a great idea, because we took a lot of liquidity. So we tapped inside daily zone, we took out this low as liquidity, we started massively reacting. So there are probably a lot of buyers involved right now. So it's gonna take a lot of sellers from here to really push the market down. But again, you can drop to the 50-minute, you can look for your setup, and if it looks good, strike. Why not? If you have a forward trend change, you have a new higher low, low to high, wait for higher low, and then keep striking higher. That is my outlook on Euro Yen. We just gotta wait for it. The Aussies are gonna be boring in this analysis, but of course, let's have a look. So the main thing that happened is we do kind of have a strange weekly break right there. We have like even 2 weeks of a pullback, which I would say could definitely make a valid lower high formation, right? And right now we just kind of went below, took out this low, rejected a little bit, so not much of an impulse. And again, the market compared to this overall high to low, it is a little bit low in the range. All right, so then of course, dropping onto the daily time frame, what you're gonna see is that this move happened on Tuesday. So Monday bank holiday, Tuesday, whoop, and then 3 days of a chop. All right, so yeah, I mean, the daily range is the same as the weekly range from high to low. We do have imbalance, which is a good thing, something to fill, which kind of almost got filled on Friday. But again, we maybe expect a bigger pullback. And on the forward time frame, you have this. Ooh, what a lovely piece of price action right here. And technically, there hasn't been a break of this low, right, in order to have a new valid range. So technically, the forward range is from here to here, right? So that is your forward supply, if you want to draw it. So again, 2 scenarios on this one. We either pull back, fill the imbalance, maybe tap into the zone, and then flush, or we do break the zone, then pull back and continue, or we do take the liquidity below the zone and reverse, right? So there are your three scenarios that I see for the Aussie. It's currently very uncertain because with all of this chop, we don't have any information about why is this happening and what is going on. So the Aussies right now, not a good decision to be traded. Okay, so keep in mind we took out the weekly low. That's why we're rejecting. But again, is the market preparing right now for a continuation lower, or is it preparing for a reversal? Again, guys, we gotta wait and see. Personally, it doesn't look good for trading. So guess what? We skip on to the next pair, which is Aussie JPY, and I'm not even gonna cover this. Weekly time frame, chopping for how many weeks? A lot of weeks. So no, we are between this low and this high for quite some time. That is the daily high, daily low, and since that daily high and daily low, we have been inside for 80 days. No breakup or no breakdown. And within that daily high and low, we have a 4-hourly high and low, and we have been between this high and low for 38 days. So 38 days within the same 4-hourly range. I don't remember the last time that I saw this, but it's an absolutely choppy price action. So again, stay away from Aussie JPY, absolutely 100%. Maybe look to trade Aussie dollar, but just looking at the overall development of this market, it doesn't look very good. So the Aussies are a full skip for me. So keep this in mind, better focus on other pairs. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. No need to like dig deeper because it's all internal and it doesn't make sense. Well, the NZDs are pretty much the same story. We do have also like a weekly structure break right there. Although you can see on the Aussie, we did have 2 weeks of a pullback. Right there, we have 1 week of a pullback. So like how significant that break is and how significant this lower high is, that is questionable. But again, the market on the weekly is overall bearish. If you want to watch, of course, the monthly outlook and setups is the previous video for a full top-down analysis. Daily range from high to low. Imbalance is right there, which is always good to see imbalance, which got filled perfectly actually on Friday. And then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, let's see. Yeah, this one is also having like this big range because again, after this low was formed, it didn't break it. So technically there is the last 4-hourly lower high, just to add it as a 4H, right? And there is the setup. So the market just filled in imbalance. It did pull back above the 4-hourly range of 50%. It hasn't reached the daily, okay? So I see two scenarios on this one, and either flushes lower and once again like continues, or reverses similar to the Aussie, or we maybe initiate a bigger pullback to further fill that imbalance, to further tap inside, to actually tap inside this 4-hourly zone, and maybe to tap inside the 50% on the daily, and then get a setup from right there and then reverse. So those are the two situations on NZD/USD that I see right now. And also there is a third, of course, because if there is going to be some sort of a reversal with all the news we have, then maybe the market takes liquidity below this low. That is very flat. It's very nice, and then maybe initiates a reversal. Okay, so those are my three kind of scenarios. I'm gonna be doing an outlook maybe on Wednesday this week, because it's gonna be much interesting to do it on Wednesday, because like Monday and Tuesday are gonna be choppy, so we better prepare like for Wednesday. So that's my NZD/USD, and NZD/JPY is a skip. Why? Exactly the same as the Aussie/JPY. 4-hourly low, 4-hourly high, and we have been in between this high and low for 38 days, and it's exactly the same with the daily. Yeah, daily low, daily high, chop, 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 chop. So again, why would you trade this pair? Like, I mean, this makes absolutely no sense. So once again, I give it a skip. If you want to trade an NZD, NZD/USD looks much, 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 much better. So let's see how those two are going to play out. Let's have a look at USD/JPY, which is like the DXY, but for the JPYs, because again, wherever USD/JPY goes, usually all the JPYs are going to follow with that momentum. And what we can see is that we're having an overall bullish week, which is a pretty strong week. It's a pretty nice candle, right? And we thought, okay, this is a high. Maybe we start initiating a pullback, but no. You have to learn this, guys. The higher you think the market is, the higher it's gonna go. Because again, if you have a look at the overall sentiment of the market, everybody's looking to short USD/JPY because all think that the market is too high, right? But there is no too high, right? The market can just keep going and going and going. Now on the daily time frame, let's see what we have. We have a new structure break, so we technically have a brand new daily range, which looks like this. And then for the last 3 days of the week, we kind of chopped around. Like Friday looks like it wants to break structure up after filling in the only imbalance we had right there, which is very nice. Oh, we do have one a little bit right there, right? So that is something to be filled. Okay, so daily time frame absolutely bullish so far. 4-hourly time frame, let's see, like the 4-hourly time frame is also absolutely bullish so far, although we had like this tricky situation that I usually don't like. We have hourly break up. Then we have hourly breakdown, but then the market taps inside the daily zone and all of a sudden, whoop, you might have a hourly breakup again, right? And this does look like it's equals. It hasn't yet broken. So giving you a bias on this one is gonna be extremely hard. I'm not gonna say anything about UJ because a lot of things could happen. So on this one, we're most likely gonna take out this hourly high. I mean, we came so close to it. Like the high here is 873, the high here is 874. So that is 1 pipette away from this high. Maybe on another broker, it's most likely taken. Like this is Oanda, but if I go on FXCM or something else, it's most likely taken, okay? So what I can see is that we might pull back and continue going higher, but the market could also pull back deeper to fill in that imbalance to tap inside the 50% on the daily and then continue pushing up. But what I also see maybe is a full-blown reversal depending on CPI. All right, so a lot of things could happen on UJ, and what I'm just gonna say is that the structure right there in terms of the FOH, it's not very clear, and also like it doesn't give us a lot of signs of what it's gonna be doing potentially on the daily. So it's overall bullish. So if you want to take a trade, longs are of course gonna be the high probability, right? But again, be aware of the news, be aware of that this push, it has no imbalance. Like there is a little bit of imbalance right there, but again, it's an overall weak push. Like unlike, for example, this one, it's an overall weak push right there. You can see this one, of course, very weak push, weak break, whoop, came out, liquidated it with this massive sale candle, and then we started launching higher. So those are kind of the two scenarios that I see on UJ. Of course, there is a scenario we continue a little bit higher and then maybe initiate a pullback. Again, guys, learn to flow with the market, do those scenarios as I do them, and then of course, whatever is presented, that's what you strike on. Okay, so that's UJ, a little bit hard to tell. I'm not gonna say whether I'm bullish or bearish, I'm neutral, and that is how you should be the majority of the times. Okay, so let's wait for the news. Let's see how the JPY will react. But again, I'm gonna say that overall, it's bullish. The question is, where do we long it from? So is it gonna be from this zone, or is it gonna be all the way down from there? Let's see. Let's have a look at the brand new pair that I added to the watch list, which is USD Swiss franc. So we are yet about to tap inside this weekly supply, what we actually did, right? Very bullish. And again, like let's just do this, right? If I really zoom out on this chart, it is overall choppy. That's what I'm gonna say. So most likely I am not gonna stick with USD Swiss franc. But look at where we were very recently. We were at like the COVID lows, right? No, I'm talking BS. That's the weekly time frame. That is 2014. Okay, so excuse me about that. But yeah, we were pretty low, like 0.85. The market was that low in 2015, even 2014, right? So that is a very low price to be in. And keeping in mind that right now the dollar is starting to accelerate in strength, I do believe this one can carry on to the upside for a little bit. So let's see how CPI goes. Maybe if inflation is looking better, maybe USD Swiss is gonna start impulsing into the highs. But once again, like this in terms of the daily, it had a break here, it had a liquidity grab there. So it's overall bullish on the daily, right? So broke up here, broke up here, broke up here. There is the last daily break and there is the last daily range. So right now, as we are tapping inside weekly supply, we did also feel like the last imbalance that is available here in the weekly supply, but on the daily time frame. Can the market initiate a pullback and then start heading higher? I would love to see that. The only imbalance that I see right now is this. Do we have anything else? We have one that was filled already. So yeah, this is ideally where I want to see the price go, right? There's that little base demand right there on the daily to act as a further confluence. And yeah, I mean, on the hourly time frame, I kind of monitored it this week, but it was very tricky on the lower. Like Monday was very tricky, then Tuesday impulsed, and then yeah, then we had a very big range on the FOH. That looks very shitty as well. Like there is a break, that is a valid break right there, and then there is the demand zone. So the market did fill in that little daily imbalance in the demand zone, but then we had this high too low. This low failed to push higher, so it came in to get liquidated, and then after the liquidation, we started pushing up. So currently, we should be breaking this hourly high. Okay, so again, I see two scenarios on this one. We either like continue pushing higher, holding the range, or we either kind of fail and then pull back a little bit and then start heading higher. So again, it depends on the news and what the news are gonna do. Like, I mean, yeah, if I just jump on the 50-minute, you can see like this one, I don't like it much. It constantly keeps changing, like the 50-minute ranges up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't like it that much. And again, you can see, for example, on Friday, it took out Asian low, roll, low, roll, move down, move up, move down, then move up. Not a big fan of it starting from right now, but again, let's see. Overall, bullish bias on USD Swissy right now, not a very good positioning to go long, because again, you should have gotten long from here already and the market is pushing. It should be breaking structure. If it breaks structure, wait for a retest and then we continue with the flow. And of course, that is going to depend whether the DXY is going to remain strong. Let's have a look at the GBPs. Now, GBP USD has been a pair that I have been slowly falling in love with because, it's really painful for me to say this, but it does move better than EU a lot of the times. It's faster, it hits take profit faster, and it chops much less than EU. So let's have a look what we have right there. So weekly structure break, weekly trend change down. The market did break, did create a little pullback, and this week we continue impulsing onto the lows. That is the most recent liquidity target that I see on the weekly. Then transferring onto the daily. So I do believe we kind of had like targets like this, which got taken. Then of course the next target is gonna be like that. Those are just lows that the market could potentially break if it's really gonna remain bearish. But as you can see, like very clear structure on the daily. Like it just came in, created the weekly break, created the daily break, pull back into daily supply. And I mean, this even for a swing trade, this one is just amazing, right? 80 pip stop loss, you keep rolling down, there is your 3R. But again, all of those setups that you could have taken here, and again, I'm not really focused on GU, but kind of regret it. Daily break of structure right now. So once again, we do have like this overall range. In terms of imbalance, like, I mean, I preferably want to see it taken above the 50%. There is none right there, and there is one little bit of a guy right there. So again, this kind of got filled. So daily time frame, it is extended to the lows, so we can start expecting a bullish pullback, which is why I really think, like, for example, EU, GU, they're all due for a bullish pullback, which means DXY is due for a bearish pullback. So again, are we gonna have this week? I truly hope so, because that's what I pretty much want to see. And then of course you can see on the voyage, like clear break, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high right now, and it just keeps dropping. All right. So one little detail that I'm gonna share with you is that I spot GBP USD works a lot with imbalance. So like here, for example, I had this as a zone, but why did the market stop right there? Well, because of this 50% imbalance field. Then it dropped. Why didn't the market pull back towards the zone? Well, because imbalance not even filled, right? And then again, you keep just backtest this and observe GU for a while, you're gonna see the patterns, right? But if I just zoom in to see what is happening right now, there was a structure break right there, and then technically our range was this, which got swept on Friday. But again, it got swept, it didn't really get broken, it just got wicked and massively rejected. So I am not really gonna draw like a demand zone from here and try to long the pair. So again, very similar to EU, there is nothing I can do with this piece of price action right there. So I need to see, is it gonna break lower and continue? Is it gonna like break lower and reverse? What is it gonna chop around in preparation for the news? A lot of things can happen. So what I'm just gonna say is give it some time, wait for Monday, like let it give you a little bit of a clue of what it wants to do, and then strike. So right now, if you made money, you made money, right? Because this has been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pushes to the downside. So if you didn't take a short on this one, then you're kind of a little bit late, right? And again, there were a lot of shorts. Like for example, this one right there on Friday was much beautiful than the one on EU. Not a short right there because it just took out the high and then it dropped. Here again, take out the high, push down, retest lower high, flushed, right? Trades everywhere on GU. So I'm gonna be focusing a lot more on it. All right. So then if we have a look at GJ, which is a JPY pair, again, 3 consecutive weeks of a chop to the upside. So is it cooking for something? Most likely. Then of course, dropping onto the daily time frame, had a break up, had a break down, did pull back, tried to push, failed, then did pull back. It didn't take out this high as liquidity, but then it straight went to take out the low on Friday. So it took out a low on Friday, rejected. So not very clear in terms of like daily bias, like what is next? Are we going to continue dropping lower, or was this just a liquidity gap in order for the market to reverse higher? Again, that also depends on USD JPY. But in terms of the quality structure, like we had a trend change here, then we had a trend change up there, then the market did pull back, higher low, did make a higher high. Oh, come on, what am I doing? Did make a higher high, then It did make a lower low, which is a trend change, and currently the range is this on the Forex. So we took out a daily low and we're pulling back inside the hourly zone. Okay, so again, when you think in terms of liquidity, when a daily low gets taken, right, the market does tend to like reverse stronger. Okay, so again, two scenarios in this one. We're either gonna hold and continue, or we're either gonna TC and maybe go and take out some of these highs right there. So again, if you just have a look on the daily time frame, this is not a clear trend. Right now, it's slightly bit chopping around. What are those lines? Do I have some indicator going on? But yeah, just keep this in mind. Okay, so that is GJ. I, again, don't want to say bullish or bearish. It is bearish right now, but also look at liquidity that we took out these massive lows right there. We heavily rejected, right? And most likely, like, the rejection was violent. Again, look at this. Just whoop, whoop. Rejected heavily. Ooh, I'm sharing some secret stuff right there. But yeah, so that is GJ, right? Again, just patiently waiting for it to provide what I want to see. Clear structure, clear ranges, and of course, supporting all the time frames, daily and Forex, because that is when you get all the best trades. So give it some time, wait for USD/JPY to make a move, and of course GBP/USD, because they are both chopping around right now. Next on the list is gold, which is once again an instrument that I do not trade, but I really like to observe it, and I have been receiving compliments for you guys that my analysis on gold is getting better. So who knows, maybe I start trading it. Maybe I am underestimating it like I did GU, for example, and the indices, all right? But I'm sure if I spend a lot of time observing it, I'm definitely gonna get better with it. So again, just to recap, weekly time frame right now is bearish, right? Although we are pulling back within like this very big leg, which is really where the move started, from this low to this high. Here we had a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, all with kind of wicks. Trend change down, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So that is the last break of structure right there. And then of course we have a weekly supply that the market tapped into last week, and we can see already this week we're having a bearish candle, which is an inside bar. So when you have an inside bar, you can expect either a break of the high or break of the low. What is more likely? Break of the low, okay? So dropping onto the daily time frame, let's have a look at the daily range. Yeah, it was tricky on gold. The thing that made me doubt last week is if I'm gonna take this as my daily high, or am I gonna take this as my daily high, because that is gonna make all the difference, guys, right? If we take this one, then we have kind of a liquidity gap or a trend change, and then we're bullish. But if we take this one, we are still pretty bearish. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of try to stay on both sides and maybe consider both sides. So right, for example, right now we are tapping inside this demand. Okay, if this was a trend change, then that is the demand that caused it, and the market is already reacting. So the question is it just gonna react and then flush, or is it gonna hold? Well, I do believe gold is more likely bearish. However, there is a big but. If the DXY starts dropping because it's way too high, well, again, nothing is way too high. So again, I have to watch my language because I want to practice what I preach. And I told you nothing is too high, right? Because the more you think that it's high, the higher it's gonna go, right? But if the DXY starts reversing right now with CPI and maybe initiates that pullback, then gold is gonna start appreciating. So again, don't exclude the possibility of gold going up, okay? Dropping onto the hourly time frame. So this week, this one was a beautiful trade right there. Is this week? 4th of September. Beautiful. Wow. This one just took out the high, then took out the low, then it pulled back into hourly supply, and then it just crashed. So if you took a short from here on gold, that's your week, because then it just rolled down. It made a hourly break of structure here, and yeah, pretty much that is the last hourly break of structure. And technically, yes, you can either take this as your high, or you can also take this one. This one is actually valid right there, according to my rules. And this is currently what we have. Okay, it came into the daily supply. Did it take this low? No, it didn't take this low. So maybe it's gonna first take out this low to take liquidity inside the daily zone, and then maybe start reversing. Well, again, don't want to call any biases. But yeah, in terms of the current price action, what is currently happening is exactly the same as all the other pairs. Like, it's unclear. No clear zones, no clear ranges, kind of have this big wick on Friday, which kind of disturbs all the analysis. But I'm gonna say that currently the market is bearish, but I do not exclude also the possibility of it going bullish. I do believe though we could push deeper inside this zone, maybe to take out this weekly inside bar candle, maybe to take out this structural liquidity, because if that is demand zone, the market is not holding from this demand zone. So it's most likely going to get liquidity grab. And then from there, as we break these 2 points, if we have a hourly trend change, that is going to be an amazing bullish signal. But if we keep rolling down, then just keep rolling down. Most likely we're going to break this low because we're also bearish on the week. Okay, so that is gold. That is gold. Again, guys, currently there is no bias, there is no outlook, there is no zones. Okay, so wait for Monday to open. Maybe you go and play your intraday. Although again, I prefer for you to wait for a clear zone, wait for a clear trend, because again, your A setups are always going to be the ones that make sense. The higher time frames are clear. You're trading from a higher time frame zone. You're trading from above the 50% or below the 50%, depending on the trade. Those are the trades you want to take. Currently, the market is nowhere. It's most likely pushing towards a low. It was above the 50%. It's chopping around. There is no zone to trade from, so no trade, right? That's my gold. Let me know in the comments, where do you think gold is going? Okay, down or up? I'd like for you to give price levels as well, because I know you're very good at that. Let me know. It was a very nice week for the indices, although you can see on the weekly time frame we do have like an inside bar formation, which is a consolidation, but I do believe next week is gonna be the guy that really shows us, okay, are we going up? Are we going down? Again, hopefully just secretly, don't tell anyone, but just secretly, I hope it goes down because I want to buy some stocks, right? So hopefully CPI and inflation is not that good and the market is gonna drop, hopefully, right? So in terms of the daily range on US30, we did came out to fill this imbalance, then we aligned bullish, then we came back this week to pretty much fill the targets, which has been great because we were sitting here on Monday and we forecasted the market pulling back, filling in the imbalance, going below the 50% on daily. We did that, and then the last 2 days, which are also an inside bar of the Wednesday's candle, have been a little bit bullish. Okay, so overall I'm gonna say bullish bias because the bias is absolutely bullish on the weekly, on the daily, and let's have a look on the Forex. Forex, not yet. Okay, hourly, not yet. So again, beautiful. I mean, US30 had lovely shorts this week. If you trade US30, it was great. Folly break, lower highs, massive drop, and then right now we're in this little correction period. This is the high, that is the low, so it's a rather big range, but we already pulled back above the 50%. Where is the imbalance above the 50%? There is one right there, not very significant. Yeah, the significant ones are up here. There is one here, there is one there. So again, like, yeah, the trick part with imbalance is why I don't like looking at it on the Forex is because they could be a lot. Like on the daily, there is just two. Like, so for example, I can take just this daily one. Right, and there it is. That is pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much the same as the Folly one. So again, that is the tricky part that I kind of try to get used to. But it's so far bearish on the Forex. So again, I don't see any clues for us to be taking longs on this market, because again, if the daily and weekly are bullish, I really want the Folly to be bullish, because again, the Folly shows us the recent sentiment, and this is the sentiment you usually want to be trading with. Because if the weekly is bullish, but the Folly is completely bearish, you're gonna take losses. It doesn't matter that the hard time frame are bullish, you're gonna be taking losses, and that's not good. Okay, so Folly time frame right now, it's bearish. There is the supply zone. I am really not sure what I would expect on this one. Like, this would be an ideal outcome right there, but again, keeping in mind that the dailies may be bullish, maybe it's gonna start reversing, right? I also see maybe an outcome like this to take out a low and then to maybe align bullish, but again, that is really gonna depend on the news. Okay, so that is the current market structure we have. That is my outlook. That is kind of the overall context we build around price, right? But again, we never know what's gonna happen, so let's be patient and let's see. And again, just to tell you, like, there were a lot of trades on US30, but as I start trading it, that is when I'm gonna also start breaking them down. Okay. Nasdaq also, like, again, we were inside a weekly supply zone. It had a weekly trend change, which is very good. We tap inside the weekly supply. So right now, like, again, as I told you, secretly hope the market drops, because again, yeah, Nasdaq, I don't want to say it is, but it looks a little bit high. And from this high, it is most likely due to around, well, we'd already made an 8% correction. So if this is a healthy bullish market, it's most likely going to go up. Because in a healthy bullish market, as you can see right there, the market does tend to pull back. Like, yeah, this one was a big pullback, but then again, like 10%, right? 10%. That is the usual pullback we're having in a healthy bullish market, which is what we have so far. And this one right there does look like a healthy pullback. But again, maybe we're going to start filling in some weekly imbalance. Who knows? Dropping onto the, did I visit the daily? No. Daily time frame, broke up, higher low, higher high. So there is the daily range. So once again, like, this is the thing right now is that the daily is bullish, building this imbalance right there right now. So we can start looking for longs based on the daily, but as long as the hourly time frame is bearish, which it is, we can't really do so. However, this one has a very clear range right there. It has a very clear supply zone. So yeah, if I just remove this one to be more focused, if the market causes a clear structure break above this zone right there and a trend change actually, then I can start looking for the longs. But if it holds, then maybe we push lower and we stay bearish. Okay, so keep in mind, daily is bullish. You can see like the true imbalance was right there, and the market came in and filled it 50%. Like that daily imbalance is the same as the 4H. So imbalance has been filled, right? So I could start expecting longs, but again, I would go long when the 40 time frame aligns bullish. I get a zone and then I go with high conviction and high probability. Okay, so keep that in mind. And again, guys, wait for the CPI. It's gonna be big. Nasdaq, weekly time, Nasdaq, SPX, right? SPX, pretty bullish on the weekly time frame. Again, we did have like a 6% pullback, which also on SPX, a 6% pullback is very healthy. It's very nice. 6 to 8, like if you go to the past, like if you kind of measure it, yeah, here we had quite aggressive pullbacks, like 10%, 9%, like 4% here. Like try to measure it, 6%. Usually it's from 6 to 8 is like a brief pullback, right? But then around like 8 to 10, 8 to 12, that is when you really want to buy, because that is a deeper kind of correction pullback. Okay, so weekly time frame, yeah, what I can say is that it's bullish, right? If you of course consider the range from high to low, we didn't really quite tap the 50%. So does that mean the market is gonna go in deeper, or is it gonna reverse from here, breaking the weekly highs? Again, we don't know. Going on to the daily, from daily low to daily high, we pull back, we fill in the, well, we didn't fill out this little imbalance right there, but we're filling in the majority of this. So once again, daily time frame is bullish, but when are you gonna go long? That is when the 40 time frame aligns, right? And the 40 time frame broke structure down there. Then actually here on Friday we did have a little wick break, so I want to see this one as I really want to see like maybe the market staying a little bit above it, right? Maybe close with a body and push a little bit above it, or maybe even see like another higher low form and then to push up in order to really say that the market is bullish. So again, we have first signs of a trend change on SPX, and I do think this is the only one. Maybe Nasdaq is gonna follow, but we had this kind of Friday massive reversal on Friday right there. So let's see if that is gonna sustain. So SPX actually does look clear. If we consider this to be a trend change, we can try to entertain a long idea from there. But again, preferably I'd like to see a little bit more conviction. I want to see a little bit more of a stronger break to really say, yes, this market is bullish. I want to go long for it. And let me show you 2 trades I took on SPX this week. So the first one was a kind of a reversal trade. Again, guys, like you think the market is gonna go up, don't cash reversals. It didn't make sense because there was so much imbalance right there. 50% hasn't yet tapped, and yet you're a guy. I was playing intraday liquidity, right? On New York Stock Exchange, we have Fanatic Model 3 that focuses on the SPX, right? So we took out this liquidity low right there, and then on the 1 minute, there was an entry right there. And I was trading before PMI. So once again, you can see like those little mistakes, that is what is going to cost you money. That is what is going to kind of keep you in the loop. And again, I'm not perfect, I still do mistakes, right? So again, I entered from here, stop loss was below, the market did push up, it pulled back, then it pushed up, and then the news came in and this big candle. So my stop loss was around here, but then I saw that my trade was closed right there, so got a little bit slipped. It is what it is, right? Took the trade. It was a high probability trade based on the plan that I have, so that's fine. Then the trade I took on Friday, which is pretty much what kind of made my week, was this one, and that is Fanatic Model 1. That is a very simple continuation pattern, right? Hourly lower low, right there. Hourly supply, we tapped inside supply, we went above the 50%, going to the 50-minute, Asian high is taken, liquidity is taken, 50-minute break, 50-minute TC down, retest the 50-minute zone, and then you go to the 1 minute time frame. Oops, did I just do something? Let me do Control Z, and then you go to the 1 minute time frame, and I got a slightly bit of a bad fill. Should have entered from here, but then the market filled me right there. Stop loss above, and my exit was textbook. So I exited right there. You can see the MT4 stats for a 4.3R, and then the market reversed. So again, very happy that I didn't swing it because I was planning to swing it all the way to the lows. Again, don't be greedy, just take your profit. It covered all the losses, so pretty happy with that trade on SPX. And yeah, that is my week overall. Like two stupid lot. Like the first loss was fine, the second one that I micromanaged was fine, the first loss, this one on SPX was fine, so kind of 2.5 losses, then 1 win. Pretty good. I'm happy, and let's get back into the zone. So yeah, cryptos, Bitcoin is just ranging, either preparing for another flush or preparing for another drop. Again, like as it fails to push higher, it kind of gives me a little bit of a doubt whether it's really gonna push up. So again, guys, if you stack up from here, don't deploy all your capital, apply like dollar cost averaging, wait for the market to keep dropping lower, and then stack up on it. But again, I'm just skipping these Bitcoin stuff. Ethereum also, yeah, Ethereum also did drop, but again, as I keep saying every analysis, I'm only gonna buy Ethereum at 800, so I have a lot of time to wait, right? So let's do a little bit of a recap. Once again, guys, just to remind you, next week, huge news are ahead of us. The ECB interest rate decision, CPI for the US, very important. And this is why you see, like on Friday, we had kind of a tricky price action to prepare us for those events. So again, no clear outlook on the DXY, but what I can suspect is going to happen, I hope we actually initiate a pullback in order to keep the market healthy, because again, it is indeed a little bit high, although no market is too high as long as it keeps going higher, right? So far bullish on the DXY, and again, you can see like EU also at the bottom. I would still wait for something to happen, but of course, keep shorting it until you're wrong, because again, the more you think the market is going lower, the more it's going to start trending, and the market is trending most likely like 15 to 20% of the time. Okay, so when it trend with it. JPYs, I would personally give a skip to the JPYs, right? Because again, for example, EJ is the best looking one, but this one has confusion between the 4H and the daily. I'm more bullish on it, but again, in order to be bullish, you gotta wait for forward trend change, right? Aussie dollar and NZD dollar, they are good, but not that good, taking in mind we were consolidating the whole week last week. So again, let's see what's gonna happen. UJ also a little bit higher, so again, depending on the DXY, are we gonna be initiating a pullback lower, or are we gonna continue crushing higher? Again, wait for the news. USD Swissy overall bullish, so let's see if it breaks the high right there and then it continues to roll higher. GBP USD also similar to EU, very low on the range, no clear range right now for a trade, so it's one of those weeks that we just gotta wait, right? Goldie, bearish right now, but again, also tricky range. Beautiful bearish bias this week. So right now, again, as I said, a potential outcome that I would expect is this. So again, the question is it gonna hold from this kind of daily zone right there, or is it gonna persist with the weekly bearish bias? We're about to see. At indices like Nasdaq and US and SPX, they look like they want to turn a little bit bullish, because again, guys, the major time frames on the indices are overall bullish right now. So once again, it really depends on how CPI is gonna come in and how that will impact the stock market. So that's how I want to conclude it. Hopefully you loved the video. Let me know down in the comments. Make sure that you include like, how did you perform this week? What trades did you take? How did you finish the week? What did you learn, most importantly? And yes, I'm gonna talk to you on Wednesday this week, because I want to have a more entertaining analysis most likely before the CPI. Wishing you an incredible weekend, rest well, backtest, and wishing you a crushing week ahead of you, and talk to you soon.